She has 2.8 million followers on Instagram, a verified public figure, a curvy model, a fitness personality, and a social media entrepreneur who built her brand from scratch in one of the most competitive creator economies on the planet. Her name is Lissa Aires, and if you've never heard of her, that's about to change. Because what Lissa has quietly built over the last several years is not just a following, it is a full lifestyle empire. And the story of how she got there, the sacrifices, the strategy, the transformation, the critics she silenced, is exactly the kind of story this channel was built to tell. So if you're new here, welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because every week we break down the real stories behind the creators and influencers who are reshaping the digital world. And today we're going deep on Lissa Aires. Let's start at the beginning, because no one arrives at 2.8 million followers by accident. Every major creator has an origin, a moment or a series of moments that push them toward the camera. For Lissa Aires, those roots trace back to Argentina. Born and raised with Argentine heritage, which she proudly displays with the Argentine flag in her Instagram bio, Lissa grew up in a culture that celebrates beauty, passion, and boldness in a way that much of the Western social media world is only beginning to catch up with. Argentine culture has a long tradition of embracing fuller, curvier figures in fashion and entertainment. It's a world where confidence is not a trend, it is a baseline expectation. And Lissa Aires absorbed that from the ground up. But absorbing confidence culturally and actually translating it into a global personal brand are two very different things. The creator economy is brutally competitive. Every year, millions of people attempt to build a following on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, and the overwhelming majority never crack 100,000 followers. The ones who do break through are not just talented, they are strategic, they are relentless. And they understand something fundamental about social media that most aspiring influencers miss entirely. The algorithm does not reward content, it rewards consistency, engagement, and identity. And Lissa Aires figured that out early. Her brand is built on 3 pillars. First, fitness. The gym content she posts, training videos, workout clips, transformation footage, is not just aspirational, it is proof of work. Lissa does not simply pose in front of a camera and claim to be a fitness personality. The content tells a story of actual physical effort. Her gym sessions have been documented in detail, showing everything from boxing drills to strength training, and one of those reels alone pulled in over 1.1 million views. That is not a lucky viral moment. That is an audience that was already primed and hungry for exactly that kind of content. The second pillar is travel. Lissa Aires has built what is effectively a travel diary embedded inside her lifestyle brand. Her Instagram highlights tell the story vividly. UAE and the Maldives, Turks and Caicos, the Bahamas, London. These are not just vacations. These are content pillars. Each destination becomes a production. Each location becomes a backdrop for fashion, for fitness, for aspirational living. For her audience, following Lissa is not just following a person, it is following a lifestyle. And that is an extraordinarily powerful position for a creator to occupy in the influencer marketing space. The third pillar, and arguably the most commercially significant, is fashion. Specifically, her relationship with Fashion Nova Curve. Now, if you follow the influencer economy at all, you know what a Fashion Nova Curve partnership means. Fashion Nova is one of the most aggressive and successful influencer marketing brands in the world. Their Curve line, FNCURVE, specifically targets the plus-size and curvy fashion market, which is a segment of the retail economy worth tens of billions of dollars annually. Fashion Nova does not partner with small accounts. They partner with creators who have demonstrated reach, engagement, and authentic brand alignment. The fact that Lissa Aires has a dedicated FNCURVE highlight on her Instagram profile signals a relationship that goes beyond a single paid post. It signals a brand that sees her as a legitimate ambassador for their identity. And that translates directly into earning power. If you're enjoying this video so far, do me a quick favor, drop a like right now. It takes 2 seconds and it helps this video reach more people who need to hear these kinds of stories. And while you're at it, let us know in the comments, did you know about Lissa Aires before today? We read every single comment. Let's talk about numbers, because the creator economy is ultimately a business, and business runs on data. With 2.8 million followers on Instagram and verified status, Lissa Aires sits in a tier that most influencers never reach. The verified checkmark matters more than people realize. It signals legitimacy not just to audiences but to brands and agencies who are evaluating potential partnership deals. In the influencer marketing world, verified accounts with engagement rates above 1 or 2% in the millions of followers range command serious rates per post. We're talking anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 per sponsored post, depending on the brand, the content format, and the exclusivity of the arrangement. And that's just for single posts. Long-term ambassador deals, affiliate commission structures, and licensing arrangements can push annual earnings from a single major brand relationship into 6 figures. But here's what separates Lissa Aires from the vast majority of influencers at her follower level. She is not just a passive participant in the creator economy. She is a multi-platform operator. Her Instagram bio explicitly links to her presence on Threads under the handle @Lissa Aires, which means she is actively building redundant audiences across platforms. This is creator economy strategy at its most sophisticated, because any influencer who has been in this space long enough knows that no single platform is permanent. Instagram's algorithm changes, reach drops, engagement fluctuates. The creators who build lasting businesses are the ones who never put all their audience in one basket. Lissa is spreading that risk intelligently. Her content also demonstrates an awareness of what the algorithm prioritizes right now. The shift from static posts to short-form video reels on Instagram, content repurposed for TikTok, is the defining trend of the current creator economy, and Lissa's most viral content lives squarely in that format. The 2.2 million view reel, where the caption visible in the thumbnail reads, "My voice is soothing," is a masterclass in short-form content psychology. That caption is not just playful, it is a hook. It creates curiosity. It invites engagement in the comments. And with 2.2 million views, the algorithm clearly agreed. Now let's talk about something that doesn't get discussed enough when we profile creators in the curvy and plus-size space, and that is the emotional labor involved in building this kind of brand. Because Lissa Aires exists at the intersection of body positivity, fitness culture, and aspirational lifestyle content, and those three spaces have historically been in tension with each other. The body positivity movement has, at various points, been critical of fitness content that emphasizes transformation narratives. Fitness culture has, at various points, been dismissive of plus-size representation. And aspirational lifestyle content has been criticized for being unrealistic and exclusionary. Navigating all three simultaneously, building a brand that celebrates her body, documents her fitness journey, and showcases a life of travel and luxury, requires an emotional intelligence and a strategic clarity that most creators simply do not have. Lissa has threaded that needle with what appears to be genuine authenticity. Her audience is not just passive consumers of content, they are invested in her story. The comment sections on her posts, the follow relationships she has with other notable creators like Rel Martinez and Jennu Jane, and the sheer consistency of her content output across years all point to a creator who understands that the relationship between an influencer and their audience is not transactional, it is relational. And when an audience feels a genuine connection to a creator, they don't just watch, they share, they save, they come back. And that behavior is exactly what the Instagram algorithm rewards with reach. Let's pause here for a second and zoom out, because what Lissa Aires is doing is part of a much larger cultural and economic story. The curvy and plus-size creator economy has exploded over the last decade. What was once a niche, or worse, a space that mainstream fashion and media either ignored or actively marginalized, has become one of the fastest-growing segments of digital media. And the economic logic behind that shift is undeniable. The plus-size women's fashion market alone is projected to reach over $400 billion globally in the coming years. Brands that ignored this demographic for decades are now scrambling to capture it. And the fastest, most credible way to reach that audience is through creators like Lissa Aires, women who are actually living in those bodies, who have built genuine communities around that identity, and who have the follower counts and engagement rates to prove it. This is why Fashion Nova Curve's investment in Lissa makes complete business sense. It is also why we are going to see more major brands entering this space aggressively in the coming years. The influencer marketing industry as a whole is now valued at over $20 billion annually, and a growing percentage of that spend is flowing toward creators in the body positivity and curvy lifestyle verticals. Lissa Aires is not just riding that wave, she is one of the people who helped create it. If you want to see more content like this, deep dives into the real stories behind the influencers and creators who are reshaping culture and the creator economy, make sure you subscribe right now. We drop new videos every week and we're just getting started on this channel. Hit subscribe and you won't miss a single one. Let's talk about the travel dimension of Lissa's brand in more detail, because I think it reveals something important about her long-term vision. The destinations she documents, the Maldives, the Bahamas, Turks, and Caicos, are not random. These are aspirational destinations in the truest sense of the word. They are locations that signal a certain level of success, a certain quality of life, a certain freedom. And for an audience that is disproportionately made up of women who have been told explicitly or implicitly that bodies like theirs are not welcome in bikinis on pristine beaches, watching Lissa Aires own those spaces is genuinely powerful. It is representation in the deepest sense of the word, not the performative checkbox representation that brands often deploy for optics, but real embodied representation, a woman who looks like that, living like that fully and unapologetically. That is the kind of content that builds parasocial loyalty at a level that most brand-safe, filtered, perfectly lit Instagram accounts never achieve, because audiences can feel the difference between a creator who is performing confidence and a creator who has actually earned it. And Lissa's audience has clearly decided she is the real thing. The engagement numbers back that up. The brand partnerships back that up. And the 2.8 million followers built in a space that was not always welcoming, on a platform whose algorithm has historically underserved creators of color and creators with fuller body types, that backs it up more than anything else. Now here's a question that I want to pose, and I genuinely want to hear your take on this in the comments. Is the curvy and plus-size creator economy a sustainable long-term vertical, or is it subject to the same trend cycles that have historically marginalized this demographic in mainstream media? Because there is a real debate happening right now in the creator economy about whether body positivity as a cultural movement has staying power, or whether it is just another trend that brands are capitalizing on before the pendulum swings back. And the answer to that question matters enormously for creators like Lissa Aires, who have built their entire brand identity around that space. Drop your thoughts below. This is the kind of conversation we want to have on this channel. Let's talk about what comes next for Lissa Aires, because any creator at 2.8 million followers is at a crossroads. The next phase of growth, from the millions to the tens of millions, requires a different strategy than the phase that got you there. The influencers who successfully make that leap are typically the ones who expand beyond a single platform, develop a product or business that generates revenue independent of brand deals, and build enough brand equity that their name carries weight outside of social media. We've seen this playbook executed by creators across multiple verticals. The question is whether Lissa is positioning herself for that transition. The signs are encouraging. The multi-platform presence, Instagram, Threads, with strong signals of TikTok activity, suggests a creator who understands distribution. The Fashion Nova Curve partnership suggests brand equity that can be leveraged for future deals or potentially her own fashion line. The travel content creates opportunities in the hospitality and tourism brand partnership space, which is a high CPM vertical that many lifestyle creators underutilize. And the fitness content, particularly the boxing and gym footage, opens doors in the sports and wellness brand partnership world, another high-value category for influencer deals. The trajectory is clear. Lissa Aires is not a viral moment. She's not a one-trick creator who found a niche and is hopping it holds. She's a multi-dimensional brand that has been built methodically over time, with the kind of audience loyalty that most influencers would trade everything they have to own. The 2.8 million followers are not just a number, they are a community. And communities, when cultivated properly, become the foundation for something much larger than a social media account. So what is the full picture of Lissa Aires? She is an Argentine public figure who took the cultural confidence of her roots and translated it into a global brand. She is a fitness creator who does the work and documents it honestly. She is a travel influencer who makes aspirational living feel accessible. She is a plus-size and curvy creator who has helped normalize the idea that women with fuller bodies belong in every space, on beaches, in gyms, in luxury destinations, on the front page of Fashion Nova Curve campaigns. And she's a digital entrepreneur who has built a business with multiple revenue streams, a verified platform, and a community of 2.8 million people who show up for her consistently. That is not luck. That is not an algorithm trick. That is years of work, strategy, and self-belief compounding in public. And in a creator economy that is littered with accounts that burned bright for 6 months and then disappeared, Lissa Aires is the rare thing, a creator with staying power. If this video gave you something, a new perspective on the creator economy, a new name to follow, a new way of thinking about what it takes to build something real in the digital space, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. That is how this channel grows. That is how we keep telling these stories. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment telling us whose story you want us to cover next. We are listening, and we will see you in the next one.